I mean, if you had like examples of each size of the company, like is a lefty 250 plus and floss is like 50 to 250.
Well, let's see, in floss there are medium, large companies from the Italian perspective. I don't remember by heart numbers in terms of employees, but I'm sure that floss is beyond 100 people in terms of employees. But anyhow, behind floss there are a lot of small and medium companies that are working for floss. That's something that you have to realize, that even though these big brands, they have like their own network of companies that they're working with them. So they are not independent or sufficient by themselves, because they have networks, local networks especially. Now they have, I will go on in a minute, but we arrive in a minute, that they have now global network as well. But at least 10 years ago, they had just local networks. So you know the big brands, but behind the big brand there are a lot of small and medium, specializing very little part of all the components that are needed to produce like a lighting system. So the company is not independent, but is producing, is designing even the components with the help of many other companies that are really specialized in one piece. Right. Now, even if you are specialized in very little components, you can become a global leader. Lorenzo mentioned Brembo. Brembo are making brakes. Brakes for this. They started working in the motorbike industry, and now they are a global leader for producing very high-end, the best probably brakes in the world, both for bikes and cars. So if you're going to buy, I hope for you, a Ferrari in the next future, you will be a very successful designer. You look to the brakes, they are Brembo, all right? If you now you buy a Porsche, you look closer to the brake, they are Brembo. So they started like being like a subcontractor of other companies, now they're becoming global leader for that. So every company today has a network, so it's not independent, so it's very important. Floss is in Brescia, that is 1 hour by train from Milan, on the way to Venice. And there are a district of companies specialized in lighting and mechanics, small mechanics there. Especially for lighting, a lot of the lighting is mechanics. Mechanics and electronics, it's a mix. So it's really practical things. So you need that you have close to you company that are specialized in different components that can help you to design a new system very quickly. That's something that is very important from a design perspective, that why design where they are so happy, especially if you want to design a light or a lighting system, they are so happy to work with Italian companies, because you can set up a new thing from scratch, because we have a lot of small and medium firms specialized in very different components, so you can set up even a complex system very easily, more easily that you have to design, within the same company, because you don't have such high competences just to work on different components. So it's the reason why we were so flexible to produce such different forms, and even because it's not related to form, but also to the way the piece is designed from the inside. So the electronic components is not so. It's a very important part of the lighting system. All right. Probably Artemide. You had the chance to probably some. Compassador word Artemide is well known. But Artemide is a perfect example. The founder considers himself like a mechanic. He said, I'm a mechanic. I'm looking for ideas from the design part, but I'm a mechanic. So I'm able to translate the language of design into a product, because I know how to build a product. So this knowledge in how producing things is crucial for the design success. Without that, it will be very hard to produce that kind of different product in a very short amount of time. So this is related to specific competence rooted within companies and within local networks of companies. Right? So that's something that is really peculiar of the Italian production system. It's hard to understand, but you're going to visit some firms, so you realize very easily this thing. So, pretty much the north part of Italy is where the industrial districts are spread, that are located. So, in Italy there are more than 200 districts. A lot of them, there are small districts, so there are 45 major districts. You know, Murano is a small district. It's an island, there are bigger, larger districts, so there are 45, the most important for also economic point of view. And there are a lot of small districts that really specialize in different things. But this is a very peculiar trait of the Italian design as well. Okay, so now that you saw like the more economic part of my presentation, I would like just to focus on how design is developed from this economic base. In terms of, from the historical point of view, and again from also an economic point of view, we as Italians, we took a different road from many other companies in the world. So, you know, there's right now, even in the media and in the literature, there is, especially in the economic literature, a lot of emphasis on the R&D, research and development, of innovation and technology. So you have to invest in R&D, you have to invest in technology to be competitive, to innovate. That was like a keyword in the last probably 4 years. Of course, this idea has a lot of importance, especially in the North American world. Innovation is related to technology. You have to improve, the pixels of the camera that's inside. That's the key issue. From this perspective, our companies were not competitive, although they were using technology, but they weren't able to be innovative to move the frontier of technology.